Hello YouTube. Today we're going to be talking about the FairShare scheduler that our group has created. We created it within kernel sched.c under the function sched_schedule. We start off by declaring the variables that we're going to be needing in order to implement it. So we have a task struct of processes, a counter, an array of users, the length of the array of users, and a variable for total time slices. Alright, so we start off by going through each process and adding the process's time slice to our total time slice variable. After doing that, we declare a skip list and an I variable. I is for counter, skip list is for checking if the user was added to an array already. So we iterate through each process and checks if it's the user. If it's the user, and then we add them to our array. If the user is already in our user list, then we just skip them all together. Afterwards, we go and check each process and read what the process is and return it to a local variable called user processes. We get the time slice, that is our total time slice, and the size of the array, and divide that by the total amount of user processes. We're going to use this as a variable called slice, which will delimit how much time each process has to run. So we have a default time for each time slice to run, and then we also have an assigned slice for each time slice to run. The assigned slice basically modifies the process so that it uses the fair amount of time for all processes. That is all the code that we have for implementing the fair scheduler. So after we created the fair scheduler, we needed a way to test it. So we had to modify procmisc.c in order to create a proc entry. So the proc entry we created is called fair scheduler information. It takes in an array for buffer, start, offset, count, end of file, and the data objects. So basically we loop through each process within the task struct and find the user processes that are currently being run on our VM. Prints out the user ID, the process ID, and the amount of time that they're allowed to run for. That's all we did for the proc entry. We also had to add that fair scheduler information down below. Let's see where it's at. Fair scheduler right here, fair scheduler information down in proc miscellaneous init. Alright, so now let's test this bad boy. So I've already pre-launched the VM, and in order to do this we have to run like a dummy file or something in order to be able to read which processes are currently being read. So I created test.c, test.c, and in here basically it creates a loop that goes on forever. It also creates a fork within so that we know that each process gets a limited amount of time and its child processes share that amount with its parent. Already pre-compiled it, so let's run it. I'm going to create 3 instances of it. And let's run jobs.l so that you can see that they're all running. And now we can run our proc entry by using this command cat proc fair scheduler. And in here you can see that all of our processes are getting a roughly amount of same time for each process that they're running. So this one gets 5, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. These are the processes that we just created. Ran it 3 times, there should be 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that's that. And this was our fair scheduler. Thanks for watching, guys.